Okay, so we'll start with the 2011 paper, question number 7. Question number 7, guys, always in your past paper, whether it's the previous syllabus or even the new syllabus, question number 7 has always been from unit number 8. So unit number 8, there is almost a definite question every year. They have never not questioned this unit. They have never questioned this unit in 2 questions. There is always question number 7 that comes from unit number 8. So highly predictable uh, that you're also definitely going to get a question from this. Okay, so starting with number 1, what are the main functions of the government? What are the main functions of the government, guys? Now, usually if they say what are the main functions of the government in a market economy, there are 4 main things. Now, here when they say what are the main functions of a government, there can be broader things as well. So we'll write the main things first and then we'll come to the others. What are the main functions of the government, guys? Main functions of the government. Just think, there is market failure, and how does the government come to correct that market failure? What can we write? Remember, one reason for market failure was inefficiency in resource allocation. No, private sector didn't provide public goods. They underprovided merit goods. They overprovided, let's say, demerit goods. So if there was inefficiency in resource allocation, what is the role for the government? The government's role is, right? Government's role is, number 1, ensuring what? Ensuring efficient allocation of resources. Efficient allocation of resources. So this is the main role of the government. So in order to ensure this only, what do they do, guys? The sub reasons. You don't have to go into detail and write the sub reasons, but what are the sub reasons? Under this only you have providing public goods, okay, providing, let's say, public goods. Then we have discouraging demerit government charges, taxes and all of that, and discouraging the production of demerit goods. Okay, then even let's say encouraging merit goods. Maybe government itself comes and provides certain merit goods. Maybe the government, provides subsidies for these industries. All of those different things will come under this. So if you write the main reason, it's all right. So that is number 1. Then apart from this, guys, what are the other main functions? So one main function is ensuring efficient allocation of resources. Apart from this, to make sure, right, we can also say, Lamai, ensuring fair distribution of income. Fair distribution of income. So this is to make sure there is no income inequality. To make sure there is fair distribution of income, what can the government do? Now for this only, Lamai, they charge let's say progressive taxes. Okay, they have progressive taxes. Then even the social security programs, like for example pensions, samurdhi benefits, all of that. So remember, Lamai, when you all are writing, write the main reasons. Don't say, for example, now when they ask you what are the main functions of the government, don't say charging progressive taxes, because charging progressive taxes comes under the main function of ensuring fair distribution of income. Got it? Then apart from that, what else, Lama? What else can we use? What's the other main thing? Maintaining macroeconomic stability. No, maintaining, or you can say ensuring macroeconomic stability. To maintain macroeconomic stability, what does the government do, guys? What do they mainly do? Remember, they use their policies, no? Fiscal policy, monetary policy, any supply side policies, exchange rate policies, right? Any policies that they have to maintain this. So I'll just say fiscal policy, FP, monetary policy, supply side policies, maybe even exchange rate policies, okay, which is not very directly there in your syllabus, but all of this they can use. So those are the main three. Now, apart from this, what else can we write, Lamai? Now, those three have to ideally be there in your answer. Then you can say promoting economic growth and sustainable development. Good. Okay. Promoting economic, I'll just say G, and sustainable development, SD. Okay. So those kind of things. And apart from this, Lama, you can talk about providing infrastructure, let's say even maintaining law and order. Those are also fine. But remember, guys, always write the main one. Whenever I have told you all, even in the mock exam series, when writing answers, main ones first. Don't start with some nonsense, and don't start with, let's say, maintaining law and order. Not that you all will lose marks a lot, but it's not nice, right? The examiner feels, this fellow doesn't know, he's just by hearted something and come. So you start with your main ones and then go into your maybe the smaller other point. Okay, so these are the top 4 that you can give. So for this answer, if you can write 4, it's more than enough, and you don't have to explain, because they're asking what are the functions. So when it's what, you can give it in point form. We'll go to the next question 2. Very easy one, no? What is meant by a pure public good? So when you all are explaining this, what should we do, Lamai? When you're explaining a pure public good or anything, public good, private good, common property resources, even let's say quasi-public goods, you have to highlight the characteristics and explain. That's how you define. So what is a pure public good case? You can start off your answer. Now it's only 2-mark question. No? You can start off your answer by saying a pure public good is a good that is non-excludable and non-rival in consumption. A pure public good is a good that is non-rival and non-excludable in consumption. Those 2 words are a must. Okay. So you need to mention that it is non-rival. You need to mention that it is non-excludable. So once you have mentioned this, then maybe you can write a small line about what is non-rival, what is non-excludable. Maybe not needed also, because it's only a 2-mark question, but not that we will lose much time. No. So we'll make our answer even better. So you can say for a pure public good, the consumption of this good by one person will not affect the amount left for another person. In your words, you can write it. That's non-rivalry. And also you can say, even though consumers do not pay a price, there is no way of excluding the consumer from consuming this. In other words, that is non-excludable. If you want, even if you don't explain that, I think it should be okay. It's a 2-mark question, but we'll not take the risk a lot also. We'll just write a small line and do that. Okay. So that is a pure public good, which you all know. Examples for pure public goods you can give. So you can say maybe national defense, okay, national defense, then things like street light, okay, street light, let's say clock towers. You can give in answers like this. Even giving example is nice, good. Then we'll go to the next. Question 3. Give one example each for the following externalities. Very easy, no? First one is negative externalities in production. So what are negative externalities in production? Maybe air pollution due to factory smoke being released. That can be a negative externality. Okay, so I will write only 1 or 2, guys. There can be so much examples. You can even Google. We'll say things like air pollution due to emission of gases, right? Emission of gases from factories. So you have to give only 1 example. Okay. Apart from this, you can also talk about water pollution by releasing of toxic materials into the, let's say, rivers or something. You can talk about any of that. Then Lamai, positive externalities in production. You can even talk about this thing. For example, beekeeping. Yes, building a new railway, fine. Yes, resulting in less road accidents, good. You can even talk about, let's say, yes, you can talk about training opportunities for employees. As a result of them being trained, what happens? They might go and help someone else, no? So maybe we'll talk about, we'll even say, let's say, providing training, right? Training for employees. Maybe you can also say, let's say, activities such as beekeeping, okay, such as beekeeping. Now see, if you have a beekeeper next to you, all your flowers in your house will nicely grow. So if you are a florist and there is a beekeeper next to you, you're definitely benefited. Then negative externalities in consumption. You can talk about the example we always talk, smoking. You can talk about, the negative impact on passive smoking. You can talk about that. Okay, so you can, I will write short forms. You all write a nice full answer. Okay, you can talk about passive smoking. You can say, because of the fact that, one person is smoking and you're waiting next to them, you're harmed, right? Then positive externalities in consumption. You can talk about being vaccinated. Okay, so when you get vaccinated, you don't spread the disease. You can be that. Okay, so then even education is a positive externality in consumption. You come to the class in the morning and you learn and go, you clarify a doubt of someone else. So don't just say education. Now write a nice example. Okay, now when you are writing your example, you can say, as a result of being educated, the society, or let's say a third party, being benefited. Something, give a nice example and you can write. Now these easy questions, guys, always remember, in your paper, when the question is easy, the marking is tough. So for example, now this is a very basic question, one example of an externality. So when you're writing your answer, it has to be very precise. Now even let's say a basic equilibrium calculation, unit number 2, finding equilibrium price and quantity. That's the easiest question you can get, no? But you have to be very precise. They will give you marks for the workings. They will give you marks for your final answer, right? Even let's say properly saying equilibrium price is rupees this much, equilibrium quantity is this much units. Okay, so be very careful with things like that. So those kind of things, every time you all do exams and all, practice and make it better and better. Then number 4, what are the major sources of tax revenue in Sri Lanka at present? Major sources of tax revenue. What and what do we have, Lamai? So if we go with 2022, what are our major sources? We have income tax, right? We have income tax. So under this only we have personal income tax. Okay, personal income tax and corporate income tax. Okay, so corporate income tax is on the corporate profits. Personal income tax is on your salary. Okay, you have value added taxes. You have excise duties. You have import duties. You have what else? What else apart from this? Now see, 5 marks, so you write at least 5 there. You can talk about sales taxes. You can talk about, even we have something called withholding tax, Lamai. Okay, so withholding taxes, now in your now if you have, let's say for example, if you make a return, let's say for example, you have money in the bank, and let's say you earn 10% interest on a fixed deposit or something. On that interest, government will charge a tax. That's what you call a withholding tax. Cess, I think, is removed now. Will not be applicable in 2022. If I'm not mistaken, cess was removed. Capital gains tax, yes, you can put stuff like that. A capital gains tax. Then you can even put things like stamp duties also. That's also kind of like a tax. Okay. So things like this you can include. See, now see these questions. Can you see how easy? They are simply asking you, Lamai, what are the major sources? So listing out is more than enough. You don't have to go and explain what is the income tax, what is that. No. If the question is what, listing is more than enough. If you really want, write a line, so that's okay. That is for your satisfaction. You write a line, but you will get marks for just writing the thing. Wealth tax is not yet there, Lamai. Wealth tax they are planning on implementing in 2025. So there is a property tax. Now wealth taxes can be on so many things, on property, on different things. Sri Lanka in 2025 we are planning to implement something called a property tax. I did a small report for office also on this, like how does it look like in other countries and all. So don't write property tax for now, because we are planning on putting this a few years later only, because to do a property tax is not easy. You have to first make a land register. You have to make sure that all the lands or the property are included. Others, so many people will get omitted, right? So it's not an easy thing to do. You don't have to mention all, but you have to mention at least 5. It's a 5-mark question. They are not going to give you 2 marks per type of tax. No, they're going to give you at least 1 mark per type of tax, not a half a mark. I don't think they'll expect you to write 10. So 1 mark, you write 5. Okay. Then number 5. Okay. Over 17% of current expenditure of government comprises of transfers to households. Identify 5 major items coming under this category. Again, identify. You have to state what are the main transfers, Lamai. Main transfers to households are, you have Samurdhi payments. Okay, you have Samurdhi payments. What is even bigger than Samurdhi payments? Pension payments. Okay, so you have pension payments. Then what else? Now write 5. Now these only 2. What else? You can talk about fertilizer subsidy. Yes, government provides fertilizer subsidies. Okay, fertilizer subsidy. What about you can talk about free uniforms and free uniforms and textbooks, right? That's also like a transfer for schools. Okay, midday meals. Okay, midday meals to school students. Midday meals to students. You can talk about the Mahapola scholarship. Okay, you can talk about Mahapola scholarship, that is for university students. Scholarships. Okay. Food subsidies, yes, fine. Given in certain instances. Remember, Namai, now for a question like this, the main 2 has to be there. No matter free healthcare, no, not really a transfer. You can put that under goods and services. The education and all of that, that might go under goods and services, not transfers. Okay, so these 2 are a must, Lamai. Samurdhi and pensions should definitely be there. That's the biggest. No, transfers to, yes, corporations, fine. But here they're talking about to households, right? So make sure you don't go there. Transfer to these corporations are also a current transfer, but they're talking about transfers to households. No? So then transfers to corporations and all will not count. Okay, so make sure that the first 2 are there, and apart from that, anything else is fine. Totally, you need to have 5 points, because they are directly asking for 5. Even if they have not told 5, given that our question is for 5 marks, you should have the common sense that I have to write 5. Guys, please don't do stupid things like this, right? If the question is for 5 marks, please don't write 4 points and come. You're just losing a mark. Okay, you write 5 or more than 5. You write 6, 7, no problem. But at least 5 should be there. Remember, every time before you answer a question, always see how many marks they are giving, and in your head, you should have it. Okay, so the moment I read this question, I should realize, okay, 1 mark per point, 5 marks. That means I need to write 5 points. So if by now, if you have not figured that out, you're going to mess up the whole thing, no matter how much you know. Okay, so be careful. Okay, that's 2011. Is that okay? Not hard, right? The questions were not bad. So there can be, now some years they might have 1 current context question, guys. I'll show you in the years that they have it. Okay, the 2011 is done.